Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Hope everybody is having a wonderful, wonderful day. Oh, it's just beautiful outside. Woke up this morning, it was a crisp 40 degrees. Brrr. But that's okay. I enjoy the cool temperatures. So what we're going to talk about today are methods of changing habits. We're going to learn how to change our habits. We're going to learn how to turn bad habits into good, happy habits. All right. I recently listened to Jay Shetty, the author of Think Like a Monk, talk about how to break bad habits in his podcast. I was pleasantly surprised by his method. Although I researched habits in the past and even successfully changed some bad habits, but I find Jay's advice to be very insightful. He gives a 7-step process. Acknowledge that the bad habit served you well at one point. Understand your motivation and move up the motivation ladder. Know every single trigger. Remove the triggers that you can. Create, if then, rules for the triggers you cannot remove. Have someone you can call if you're about to fail. Replace lower tastes with higher tastes. Specifically, I found steps 1, 2, and 7 to be quite unique, and absolutely so. So let's go through these. Step by step. Acknowledge that the bad habit served you well at one point. Lying is a bad habit of mine, and it has served me well in the past in certain situations, but it's not a good habit to have at all because it hurts you in the end, because you not only hurt the person you lie to, but you hurt yourself. So we don't need to be hurting anybody. We don't need to be hurting ourselves. So we're not going to lie. We're going to keep that on the back burner where it belongs. And we're going to do things right. So, pushing it away is a form of attachment. Our hand is still on it if we can acknowledge that this behavior was useful at one point in the past, but no longer serves me. Then we can gently open our palms and let it go. Let it go. For example, I used to watch a lot of TV, and I felt bad about wasting so much time on watching TV, but that negative emotion is still a form of attachment. An attachment makes us unhappy and stressed. So when I'm stressed, I'm more likely to do bad habits. So I try to keep myself from getting stressed and wanting to sit down and watch TV until it's later in the evening. Understand your motivation and move up the motivation ladder. In his book, Jay explains that we are motivated by 4 motivations: fear, desire, duty, and love. Fear is the lowest. Love is the highest. It's hard for us to jump from fear to love, so we need to move up the ladder one step at a time. Jay gives the example of himself trying to eat healthier. He loves fried food. I love sweets and salty foods. But he learned how harmful fried foods are, and that gave him fear. Then he desired visible results, so that motivated him to eat healthier. Then he thought about his duty to his family to be healthy. Then he thought about how much he loves his family and his body, and how eating healthy is a way to show them love. Absolutely, absolutely. It's a good way to show love, by being healthy and doing right. Know every single trigger. Jay gives the analogy of playing Mario. The first few times you play, you lose because you get caught by traps. As you keep trying, you take note of every single trap along the way to your goal, just as in life. Then you finally succeed by avoiding or dodging all the traps. The same is true for our bad habits. We all have triggers for our bad habits. We need to write down every single one of them. Oh, my Lord, have mercy. Would I have a manuscript of what triggers me to lie? It's just, my whole life was, yeah, I didn't like my life. I'm not happy with it right now either. It needs to get better, and quickly. For example, Jay realized a common trigger for him was getting hungry at the studio. Then he would just eat whatever unhealthy snacks were available. For me, I often played video games as a way to take a break after doing some work. Another trigger was stress. Once we are clear about our triggers, then we can avoid and dodge them. Hi there, Snickers. Yes. Hey there, baby. Can I have a kiss? Can I have a kiss? You a good girl? Would you bring me a treat? Remove the triggers that you can. For example, Jay and his wife changed the snack drawer in their home only to have healthy snacks. That way, whenever he wanted a snack, it was impossible for him to eat anything unhealthy. Jay also gave the example of a friend who was trying to quit pornography, and that person blocked all the websites on his computer and phone, making it nearly impossible for him to commit the bad behavior. Let me close this door real quick. I see you, Marshall. Okay, it was nothing. It was worse than nothing. Remove triggers that you can. For example, okay, blocked all the, okay. Now that's, I just gotta, when, and I don't know why it is, but when, at least lately, when Bo asks me a question, I Can I please have some peace? What? You want me to come out? Well, you just have to wait a few minutes, sweetie. Can you go close the door? Can you go close the door for me? Can you close the door? Or just lay down. Lay down like a good girl. Mommy will close the door herself. Well, she went out anyway. Oh well. Okay. Create if-then rules for triggers that you cannot remove. What? I'm trying to work here. Lay down and be a good girl. And Mommy wants the door closed so she doesn't hear what Bo's doing in there. You're just a silly girl. You're just a silly girl. Okay, where were we? All right. Okay, so create if-then rules for triggers that you cannot remove. For example, Jay decided to carry about a packet of dried dates and nuts. If he gets hungry at the studio, he would eat that healthy snack instead of anything unhealthy that was available at the studio. For me, I decided that if I felt the urge to play some video games, I would go watch an educational video about improving my virtues. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. When I feel like I want to not tell the truth, just take a deep breath, listen to a blog. Usually I would get very interested in the video and urge to play video games goes away. Afterwards, I feel a long-lasting sense of happiness that I spent my time well, rather than the temporary pleasure of gaming that results in guilt afterwards. Step 6, have someone you can call if you're about to fail. This one is really interesting and useful. Essentially, calling that person helps to break our habit cycle. They can intervene and remind us of our goal and why we want to quit that bad habit. The fact that they gave us a pep talk will also motivate us to not disappoint them, because we don't want to disappoint people. I know this yawning has to stop. And it's stress. It's pure stress. Pure stress because I have 2 car payments that it's getting very difficult to make. So far, I'm not making any money doing this but I enjoy doing this. I'm not doing this to make money, but it'll be nice one day when I do. Step 7, replace lower tastes with higher tastes. I really like the phrasing of this. The phrasing other people use is to replace a bad habit with a healthier habit. But oftentimes people feel like the healthier habit is not as enjoyable as the bad habit. However, we should replace the bad habit with a higher value, absolutely, higher taste. For example, playing video games is a low taste. Lying is a low taste. Telling the truth is a high taste. Reading literature is a higher taste. Although at first it doesn't seem as enjoyable, but after I get accustomed to the new taste, I like it a lot better than the lower taste. Now I would rather read and write over play videos. And I, Margaret, would rather tell the truth and enjoy a story than lie and tell a story. I've learned to seek meaningful joy over mindless entertainment. Another example is healthier snacks. I used to crave sweets like candy and chocolate. Then I replaced it with sweet dates and nuts. At first, these didn't give me the same pleasure high as unhealthy snacks, but over time, I've come to prefer and enjoy the healthier snacks more. I became accustomed to the higher tastes and don't have any desire to return to the lower tastes. It takes about 10 weeks, 2.5 months, to change a habit. So we need to be patient with ourselves. Sometimes people will say in the new year, I'm going to stop that bad habit. But going from 100 to 0 is not realistic. A better goal would be to go from 100 to 90. Then change slowly, but steadily. And we all must remember that changing habits is not easy, but it's one of the most worthwhile things we can do in our life. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. What habits are you wanting to change? What habits do you want to improve? Me, I have a lot of them. Trust me. I need to take better care of myself, not only mentally, but physically. I know I need to more conscious of the things I'm doing, be more aware. I need my life to get easier. I'm tired of every day being a struggle. I'm 71 years old. I shouldn't have to be continually struggling. My life for the last 40 years has been traumatic and struggling enough. I need peace. I need stability. Even though I was married to the man for 38 years, I never felt stable. I never felt secure. I was married to him. I lived with him. And for the last 7 years, I lived with him 24/7. 24/7. He didn't work. I didn't work. We were in the same house 24/7 for almost 7 years, to the point of destruction. I don't know how to fix me. I need to. I thought this life would be so much easier with him out of it. But it's not. It's just a different hell. I don't like this hell. I just. And then there's Mother. She doesn't even know where she is half the time. She doesn't know what she's doing. I don't know what to do. I love her. I want to care for her, but I don't know how. I'm getting to that point because she's incoherent. She doesn't know what's going on. You ask her a question and it's like talking to that picture back there, that plant. No response. I asked her this morning if she'd ever had a car repossessed. She looked at me like deer in headlights. What? What? I mean, I don't know. But we're going to change our habits. We're going to get past this. So with that, peace, love. We'll talk at you later. Bye-bye.